Welcome to Eclipse Yourself. In this video we're going to dive into the Eclipse recovery in a bit more detail and just give you the basics of how recovery works. So you can see when I load up Eclipse, my recovery is actually in balance at the moment. You can see by my gauge with the white needle, I'm pretty much right in the middle of my baselines at the moment. If it was out, if it was far to the left, you'll see that the recovery Eclipse circle will be out of balance and show on the Eclipse. There's two ways to drill into recovery. I can tap on the gauge, which is going to open the recovery screen, or I can also tap on my today's recovery graph here. That's going to open it. Now, this page has two main breakups. We have our 6-month view of all our data that goes through, and then we also have our peak recovery graph here. So obviously the higher I can get this little yellow sun up the peak, the better my overall recovery is. Now for each of these nights, you'll see they have different sleep metrics, which are work either as a positive or a negative against it. So it's using all my baselines, 6 months of baselines in this case. We're using sleep duration, a fatigue index, my sleeping heart rate, my heart rate variability for my sleeping average, my SpO2, my blood oxygen, and also my respiration rate. And we can see when the color of the block is above the medium par line, that's giving me a positive to my overall rating. And when it's working below, like my SpO2, it's actually below my baseline, working against it. So from all these metrics, we use a weighted algorithm that's then assigned and creates an overall rating, which is this white line that you'll see snakes up and down. So you can see last night my overall rating was quite high, the night before still really good, but down a little bit. But 2 nights ago, my overall rating was actually below, and you can see my Eclipse there was out of balance. So for each of those nights, I can scroll down and see a peak recovery that's here. See how my yellow dot is down on this night, how my duration worked against me, and also my heart rate worked against me. Also my respiration rate was down, so the yellow dot's down here. But if I look at last night, I've got some really good metrics there where my sleep duration has been a really big positive for me, 8 hours 13 sleep, which is quite good. I've had really good sleep HRV average, which is my green part that's there, and also my heart rate was quite good, my sleeping average heart rate, and I've got a little bit of red which has been contributed to there. So at any time we can swipe across the graph here and look at up to 6 months of data. A good one to note is that you can also apply 7-day trends. So if I click the little mini gauge down the bottom here called 7D trend, what that's going to do, it's actually going to convert all the metrics into rolling 7-day averages. And it's great for seeing sort of changes, I suppose, that you're making in habits and behaviors more over a longer period, to see what's working rather than daily ones, which might be a little bit more up and down. So you can see this patch here with all this red working above my par line. That's where my heart rate was really good. I know that was actually from just eating better and earlier before I went to bed. Over here, I know this was more sort of holiday period where probably maybe some alcohol and things, so my heart rate's against me, but also my HRV was actually really good for that period. You might notice impacts of different training. I know I went through a bigger training block back here, so I was trying to get more sleep duration, which was working really well, so the exercise was helping with my recovery. But yeah, great sort of insights, and sometimes it's you get a little bit more insights in the 7-day trend than applying just the day-to-day one that's here. You can also swipe up the bottom screen for a bit more information on what each of these metrics are. Another good one to note is that I can actually tap on different metrics to filter them out. So if I just wanted to look at my HRV, in this case, this is all my daily HRV ratings, but I want to apply 7-day trend, I can do that. And then actually maybe want to re-tap it to turn it off. And I want to look at how my heart rate's actually been going. I don't want the 7-day trend, I just want sort of a day-to-day view. So once again, there's a lot here that you can sort of investigate and look into. the overall rating is obviously the key one, which controls the Eclipse balance. And down the bottom here, just as the last thing to note, there's also a learn more button. So for each day we get a breakup of what's worked well for our overall recovery rating and what's maybe worked against us. So you can tap on that for any of the bars or any of the night's recovery that goes through. Last thing, in configuration, we go into the options tab and go into configure my Eclipse. A couple key things here just for using recovery. So obviously everyone's unique and individual, so you want to make sure that you apply the goal duration in terms of what you feel you need to be refreshed. The average is usually between that 7 to 9 hours. And also you get a choice of which app you'd like to use. So you can use the Auto Sleep app, or you can use the native Apple Sleep app that's there also. I'll just click done, and that's recovery.